Oh, yo, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream. My name is Justin Moore, founder of Creator Wizard, where I teach you how to find and negotiate your dream sponsorships. And today we're talking about sponsorship horror stories. I really want you to avoid the mistakes that I have made, and my wife and I have made over the years. We've done over 500 sponsorships over the years. I've done thousands through an influencer marketing agency that I ran for 7 years. So you could say that I have my fair share of screw ups, which I've definitely learned from, and honestly has colored a lot of the content that I've created on this channel around sponsorship strategies. So let me know where you're tuning in from. I am live across a bunch of different platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, you name it. Let me pull up the Instagram chat, see who we got here. We've got Austin Holmness. What's going on? We've got Leia. We're on TikTok. We got Cameron Nostalgia Club. What's going on? Vanessa, good to see you here. All right. So as you know, I'm going to be talking about some of these horror stories, but my time is your time on these live streams. So any questions that you have around brand deals, negotiations, sponsorships, totally fair game, and I'll answer those a little bit later in the live stream. We got Bianca tuning in on IG. Good to see you, Bianca. Elizabeth Nittel from St. Simons Island. Where's St. Simons Island? I actually don't know where that is. We got Serena Baleja. Is that the right way to pronounce your name? Serena Baleja. Sarah Dawn from Toronto, Canada. Good to see y'all here as well. All right, so let's talk about the first horror story. So an opportunity came to my wife and I from a very well-known advertising agency that we'd worked with in the past for a pain relief product, okay? So first of all, it's always a great sign when you see a familiar face land in your inbox, right? That's almost always an indicator that this is gonna be like a good partnership because they valued that what we brought to the table last time, and now they're coming back for more, right? And so at the outset, the agency kind of casually mentioned that this is a regulated product because it comes from a pharmaceutical company, right? We didn't really think anything of it at the time other than maybe the approval process is going to be a little bit longer than normal, but we plan out our content so far in advance that it's never really an issue, right? So we sign the contract, we get the concept nailed down, and then the last thing that we're waiting on is the creative brief, right? And so a creative brief, if you're not familiar, this is the document that where the brand outlines exactly how we as the creators, as the influencers, are supposed to talk about the product, right? The key messages that they want us to hit, the call to action, like going to your local store and picking it up or something like that, right? And so our first indicator that this deal was going to be a nightmare was that it took them a really, really long time to finalize the brief. They kept saying, oh, the brand's legal team was going back and forth on the language and exactly what we could and could not say. And in our minds, we were kind of thinking why didn't they finalize this stuff before they actually reached out to us, right? And this is actually a really important insight, which is that brands change their mind all the time. Right. And I kind of felt bad for the agency, honestly, because in this situation, they're kind of playing the messenger for the brand. Right. They didn't really have control over all the moving pieces. And so after what felt like an eternity, the brand finally got back to us with an approved creative brief and an approval on the concept. And so hallelujah. Right. We filmed everything, all the YouTube videos, the Instagram posts, pardon me. And it was actually quite a bit of content, and we were really proud of it. And we thought, hey, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be compelling. Our audience is going to really like this. This is totally in line with the creative vision that we proposed in the concept. And we were stoked to see what they thought of this content that we created, right? And so we submitted it, and then it just kind of fell into a kind of like a black hole, right? And we kept asking what's the status? Any feedback from the brand? And the agency just kept pushing us off. Oh, they're still reviewing it. Don't worry. There's been some changes. The legal team has some new requirements. And I think about a month after we initially submitted the content, the agency came back to us and said that the legal team has decided that we cannot proceed with the partnership based on new regulatory requirements, and we have to terminate the deal. Mind you, we had already created the content, we just hadn't posted it yet. So what do you think the agency did? Well, they paid us tens of thousands of dollars to not post anything. So there were two lessons in this one. Number one, you always have to have termination clauses in your contracts, which outline exactly what would happen in a scenario like this, where the brand chooses to just cancel everything after you've already created the content, but haven't posted it yet. Okay. And the other lesson is that if you sense that the brand hasn't fully solidified their strategy, and there are stakeholders on their side, like the legal team, who are really concerned about maybe certain aspects of the partnership, you have to slow everything way down. You have to triple and quadruple check that. Like when they say that this is like the approved creative brief, that this is really actually approved, right? Because the last thing that you want to do is go out and create a bunch of amazing content and then have the brand say like psych, right? Which is what happened in this scenario. So honestly, like again, obviously they paid us the money, which was great, but because we had that clause in there. And again, part of the reason that we had this clause in there is because we'd been burned in the past with something like this. Not quite as egregious as this. But honestly, it was the kind of thing where, we were like halfway through the production process. So it wasn't like we had already like completely finished it. But in this scenario, like it was literally everything was ready to go. We were ready to just hit publish. And they said, actually, no, we're going to cut you a check here. So, always important to have that clause in the contract. Yeah, Tatiana in the chat says, "Ugh, awful." Modern day tech. What's up, man? Good to see you here. She Fire says, "Yeah, I need that contract language." The real J Villa on TikTok says, "Yo, what's going on? Good to see you here." We've got Mustita Reza tuning in as well. Yeah, Sarah says that clause is important. Absolutely. We've got Mrs. Juno tuning in on Instagram. Good to see you here. Okay, so what did you think of that first horror story? Would that give you guys, did your eyes start twitching? Like, are you a little scared there? Well, don't worry. I got some even worse ones. Okay. So horror story number 2, was with a very well-known food brand through their agency. Okay. And this was like a dream brand. Okay. Contract seemed pretty normal. Few red lines that we had to make, but pretty standard stuff, except for one clause that seemed pretty innocuous at the time. Basically, it said that we will not pay you until we get paid by our client, which is the brand. So on the surface, that makes sense, right? Like, if this brand owes the agency $100K and they're paying you $10K for the campaign or something, it's reasonable to wait until they get paid so that they can pay you, right? But what happens when, for whatever reason, the brand has a dispute with that agency, or maybe they start having financial issues, or their accounts payable team gets really backed up, right? All of those things now directly affect you and your landlord banging on your door asking where your rent payment is, right? And so we executed the entire partnership. It was very successful. And then we submitted our invoice. We followed up when we were getting close to the payment due date, right? The agency assured us that the payment would be rendered as soon as possible. Don't worry. Another couple weeks passed, didn't receive anything. So we followed up again. And that's when they hit us with the fact that the brand hadn't paid them yet. They called out that clause in the contract and we were like, well, that sucks, right? But what are we supposed to do, right? We signed that contract. We could piss and moan, but like, what's that really going to do? And so we just waited longer and longer, multiple months, until I finally had to rely on basically kind of common decency. And I basically just said, look, I get that your client hasn't paid you but at some point we're like 3-4 months past the payment due date, and that just not right. What is it going to take for us to close out this partnership? Like, we have upheld our side of the bargain, right? And we would greatly appreciate if you figured out a way to make this happen, right? And that was what did it. We kind of appealed to their sense of responsibility. And so the lesson here, I think, is number 1, try to avoid clauses like that, right? And if it's absolutely unavoidable, try to at least get 50% down at the standard payment terms, right? So whether it's net 30, net 60, whatever, so you can start getting some of that money going, the kind of the clock starts, and then you'll at least be able to detect and resolve some of these problems a lot sooner, right? So yeah, Tatiana says, oh man, this is way too common of an issue. Yeah, this is something that happens, quite a bit. We've got Tyler Tomatich, did I pronounce your name correctly? Good to see you. Hannah Bigam, we've got Influencer Workshop NYC. What's going on? Good to see you here. So this is something that happens. Like, this happened to us. It's happened to lots of other creators that I've interacted with. So definitely something to watch out for. Okay, sponsorship horror story number 3. Okay, was with a well-known vitamin brand. Okay, and this was a pretty standard partnership. Okay. I think it was just like one in-feed Instagram post, couple of story frames, nothing out of the ordinary at all about the contract, the execution, anything like that, right? But everything came off the rails when we posted it. Okay. And I'm sure you're wondering what the heck happened. Well, as part of the partnership, they were going to provide us with a coupon code so our followers could get a discount on the product. Okay. Again, very normal. We do this all the time. But the one thing that we did not do was test the coupon code to make sure that it actually worked and gave a discount to our followers, right? So when we released the post with the caption saying like, oh, I'm going to put a link in my bio, use this code to get 25% off, we had literally hundreds of frustrated comments that no one could redeem it. And you know what the worst part about this was? That this was over the weekend. So the post was like on a Saturday. And so we couldn't get a hold of anyone from the brand. So by the time that we actually connected with the brand, the promo code, like redemption period that we had mentioned in the caption, was over. And remember, like, again, this is a conversion focused campaign. So it was basically impossible to measure how successful that had been. So whose fault is it in that scenario? Well, most creators would say that it's the brand's, right? And I am going to take a controversial stance here, which is that it's actually our fault, because we are professional creators, right? And this should have been on our checklist of things to verify before we actually put our reputation on the line by sharing a product with our followers. Again, you are telling your followers, hey, go patronize this brand. We think it's awesome, and we think that you'll love it too. But when they can't redeem the dang promo code, well, that doesn't just reflect poorly on the brand. Well, that reflects poorly on you, because the next time that you get a sponsorship, that follower might think twice about checking out the latest brand or product that you're hawking, right? And so this is like a real risk. This is a serious thing. In fact, I talk about it in detail in my course Brand Deal Wizard, which cohort number 10 is launching next week on Thursday. So if this is something like all of these things that I'm talking about, these horror stories, you can absolutely avoid these if you participate in my Brand Deal Wizard program. Cohort number 10, I just can't believe it. Can't believe it. Holy cow, we just got a $9.99 super chat from Nomadic Introvert asking a great question here, and I will absolutely make sure to answer that in just a bit when we get into the Q&A. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. All right, I have two more horror stories that I want to share. And by the way, feel free, if you have any horror stories, please drop it in the chat because I would definitely want to like highlight some of these. It's not just mine. This is the time for you to be vulnerable here and share your stories. I would love to hear it here. We've got the creator's attorney, Tyler. What's going on? You're always such a professional, Justin. Props. I appreciate that so much, Tyler. Yeah, you know, you're an alum of Brand Deal Wizard. You know, this is how I approach everything. I approach everything with empathy. You have to put your hat on of your partner, of the brand, of the agency. They're human too. These things happen, right? And so you have to take ownership of a lot of this stuff. It's not just playing the victim is not going to solve stuff. Yes, there are situations where the brand is at fault or the agency is at fault, but I always approach this from a perspective of, okay, like, yes, that may be the case and they may have screwed up, but have you screwed up in your life? Have you made errors? Yeah, you probably have. Wouldn't it have been nice for someone to give you grace? So that's the way in which I approach all this stuff. Okay, so I've got two more like horror stories I want to share. Number one, the next one. So the next sponsorship horror story was with a well-known kids food brand. Okay, the agency that approached us about the opportunity was actually one that we didn't like working with very much because they always sent us lowball offers. And so we basically went against our own intuition because it was a brand that we already loved and used all the time. Like, ooh, okay, yeah, we don't like this agency, but the brand is awesome, so let's give this a shot. And so, isn't this funny how that happens sometimes? Like, we kind of let our better judgment cloud our objectivity because we're just so excited anyways. But surprise, surprise, we signed the agreement, shot the content, and when the brand got back to us with the feedback, they basically said, we just don't like the way it looks, and we'd like you to reshoot it. And we basically said, okay, yeah, but what don't you like? Like, what don't you like about the way like it looks? Right? Like you need to give us more specific direction here because we feel like we fulfilled everything that we said we were going to do. And they just said, oh, well, it's not what we had in mind. And we just kept prodding and trying to get some more direction, because who's to say that if we went and shot it again, that they wouldn't say the exact same thing to the new content, right? So finally, they gave us more concrete direction. We looked at the contract and we were kind of screwed, because there was language in the contract saying that the brand could ask for reshoots if it didn't adhere to the brand's standards in their sole discretion. That keyword, sole discretion, means that they can decide that without any feedback from us. They could decide that they don't want this. Tyler knows better than anyone because she is the creator's attorney, right? Sole discretion. You always got to be real careful about those words. 2 lessons here. Obviously, it can never be in the brand's sole discretion, whether you do a reshoot or not, right? As long as you have adhered to the creative brief, you've adhered to the approved concept, then you got to have language in there. Again, I'm not a lawyer. Don't take this as legal advice. Go talk to Tyler if you need legal advice. But you should be having some sort of language in there, such like, reshoots only permitted if creator substantially deviates from the approved creative brief and the approved a concept, right? That's the only time that you should be able to do you should be required to do a reshoot. So there's some subtlety here, but like that very important lesson. It can never be in the brand's sole discretion, right? Okay. And the other thing is maybe not as obvious, which is that you should be sending a concept to the brand for approval before you ever shoot, even if they're not asking you for one. Right? You have to give them the opportunity to be like, oh, whoa, hold on. No, actually, that's the complete opposite of what we had in mind, right? Because I am almost positive that in that situation, had we done that, we would have completely avoided this situation, right? Yeah. So, Tyler says in the chat, as an attorney, I hate that phrase. I hate that phrase. Oh no, I just refreshed it and now I can't see your chat. The last thing I see is go take Justin's course. I took it and it was pure gold. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that so much. Really, really means a lot. Thank you. This is coming from a creator's attorney saying this. So thank you. Yeah. That phrase is like the bane of my existence. Sole discretion. Oh my goodness. We've got some horror stories in the chat here. Let's see here. Oh, my horror story. I was writing a pattern for a knitting magazine. Design call said most of the industry's standard things plus pattern royalties contract didn't have the royalty clause, and I didn't read it carefully enough. That's one's on me, but ugh. And to add insult to injury, they started using the pattern in a membership style club, and the contract I'd signed let them do that without paying me. Sulk. Oh no. Hold on. I'm going to give you a sound effect for that one, Sarah. Oh, that sucks. I'm so sorry. And she said, at least now I know what to read in a pattern design contract lesson learned. Yeah. That said, I'm still on that magazine's mailing list, and from their newer designs, it looks like someone on their legal team or the contract team learned their lesson, because a lot of people were angry over the membership thing. Oh, got you. Yeah. Crazy. Trish in the chat says, Tyler, where can I find you? Are you on LinkedIn? Yes. Search Tyler Creator's Attorney on LinkedIn. I think that's how they can find you on LinkedIn, right? I'm pretty sure, because Tyler's definitely on LinkedIn. So Trish Staples, make sure to go Google Tyler. Okay. I got one more horror story, and then I want to make sure that I answer the super chat question. So, by the way, if you have any questions and you want to make sure that you get it answered, slide your boy a super chat. Like, these super chats always go to the date night in the DoorDash fund with my wife on Friday nights. We always use the super chats to fund our DoorDash fund. So if you have a burning question you want to make sure you get answered, slide your boy a super chat. So thank you again. Definitely going to revisit those. Okay, I got one more sponsorship horror story that I want to share. Okay, and seriously, this one was an absolute doozy. Okay, so this was an opportunity where we actually had to fly somewhere for a full production shoot. Okay, like a full crew, the whole shebang. And super exciting, right? But this was a really quick turnaround time. Okay, basically the agency approached us and was like, hey, this is an accelerated timeline. We have to make this happen. We have to fly you out because these assets have to go live by a certain date. Okay, and so what happened was that we were doing a bunch of stuff in parallel. right? We were looking at airfare. We were trying to provide concepts to the agency. And I just kept asking them for the contract, right? Like, give me the contract, give me the contract. And they kept saying, we're working on it. We're working on it. We just have like a bunch of other balls up in the air. We're trying to get this production in line. And it's understandable, right? I mean, it was this kind of like a leap of faith thing. And so we were like, you know what, seems like it's definitely going to happen. And so we booked the plane tickets. Okay. Booked the plane tickets without a contract in hand. And, usually we do that and then we get reimbursed by the brand. Okay. So I think it's the day before we were about to leave. We finally get the draft of the contract. Overall, pretty good. However, in the deliverables section, they were asking us to do a YouTube video when over the phone, what we had committed to was Instagram deliverables, not YouTube. Right. And so we caught that in the contract that they were like asking for a YouTube video. Again, that would have cost a lot more money than the budget that they had allocated. And so we struck that clause, called it out in the email, right? Send it back saying, hey, this contract looks good. We made a few changes, to the agreement to make sure it's in alignment with what we had agreed to over the phone. Let us know if you have any questions. Called it out in the email. Okay. And coordinator from the agency emailed back quickly, says, hey, looks good. Just sign this version, this clean version of accepted your changes, sign this version of the agreement. We countersigned it quickly. Okay. So this is put to bed. We're good. Right. And the cool thing is that we were going to make a little vacation out of it for our kids. Cause remember, we were flying to New York and so we were like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Little vacation, all this stuff too. Right. So the next day, we are literally on the airplane, on the tarmac, about to taxi, to take off, to fly six hours cross country, right? And I start getting like blown up. Like I see on my text messages, or I get a phone call from a New York area code. And like we still have a few minutes before we're about to take off. So I'm like, oh, New York area code, that could be someone from the agency. So I pick it up. Okay. It's one of the higher ups at the agency who basically said, I'm so sorry. Our coordinator made a mistake with the contract and they should not have signed that version of the agreement removing those other posts. We actually need that YouTube post because that's what we committed to our client. It must have been some sort of miscommunication. Remember, we are on the tarmac. So what do you do in that situation? Because what they were asking for should have cost a lot more money, right? But remember, we always look at it from the perspective of like, okay, how can we make this agency win? It was obviously an error on their part by no fault of ours, but how can we make this thing happen and still make everyone happy, still make them not look like idiots to their client, right? And so ultimately what we did was we said, okay, look, we will figure this out. The call time is like 4 a.m. the next morning. Just like, let us get there. We'll figure this out. We'll do the shoot. And then we will figure out a way to make this work. And ultimately that's what happened. My wife showed up super early the next day, superstar, killed it on set, right? And then we sat down with them afterwards and we basically kind of met them halfway. We agreed to change some of the post arounds. We agreed to add the YouTube video for a reduction in some other deliverables and terms and usage rights and all that stuff too. But we made it happen. We were still able to satisfy their client and we kind of washed our hands of it. Okay? Because at the end of the day, this was our fault. We should have never booked those plane tickets. We should have never gotten on that plane until we had a signed agreement in hand. But again, in our excitement, right, we were going to make this vacation out of it. We just didn't let the contract stage play out as it should have. Because again, had we caught that and had we not been on the plane, perhaps this deal might not have gone through. And so the lesson here is that even if the brand or the agency is trying to say, hey, we got to like go. This is like super quick turnaround. Let's do this, right? It's your job to say, hold on a second. Let's slow this down. Okay. We got to make sure that we are on the same page. Okay. So important. Andrea Lissette said, I had something similar happen with a brand. So again, this is like very, very important. This stuff is real. It happens. We are like having some validation from other people sharing their horror stories in the chat. Andrea said here, modern day tech. Eric said it's always bound to happen. I always get an important business call the moment I start boarding a plane. Yeah, I don't know what is it about that. It's like it always It always happens. Macy Harrell says, how did you pre-record a live? This is not pre-recorded, Macy. This is live. I am just using a multi-streaming platform. So I'm using like my high quality camera to go live on Instagram. So this is not pre-recorded. I'm giving you a shout out here. Venezuelan M said, good points and very insightful. Thank you. Glad that it was helpful. Tyler says, went through 6 rounds and the brand decided to not use my client's video, and I am now chasing a 5-figure fee. This is real stuff. Look at this. This is real scenarios. Crazy. Absolutely crazy stuff. Yeah, this is crazy stuff. We got Sabrina Molu. What's going on, Sabrina? Good to see you here. Tatiana says, such a great topic for a live. I'm over here like eating the popcorn, right? Eating the popcorn. Yeah. My gosh. Yeah, it was not a good scenario, but I'm here to share my foils, or what is it? My trials and tribulations can be your popcorn. All right, so now we have reached the time of our illustrious live stream where I'm going to dive into Q&A. So if you have any questions about brand deals, sponsorships, negotiations, and you want to make sure you get them answered, make sure to slide me a super chat, because it goes to the DoorDash fund. So I appreciate you. So let's go back to the super chat we got from Nomadic Introvert. Once again, thank you so much for the super chat. I get offers for sponsorships, partnerships, and collaborations often, but I don't do it because I don't know my worth. How do I determine my monetary worth for a video? This is a really, really good question, Nomadic Worth. And once again, thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, so the way in which to understand how to quantify your worth and essentially how to boil it down to your pricing for regardless of what the content is there's 2 buckets that I teach, okay? The first bucket of your pricing levers is the campaign objectives. Okay. And there's going to be 3 types, always 100% of the time. It's going to be one of 3 things. Okay. And I call it my ARC framework. Okay. ARC. The first campaign goal that the brand is going to have, one of them, is awareness. Okay. So they are launching a campaign in a new territory, right? They previously sold in UK. Now they're selling their products in the US. That's a big launch. It's going to be a product launch. They just want to spread the word. They really want to get the groundswell of support out there. That's an awareness campaign. The R in the ARC method is repurposing. Okay. And what this means is that the primary reason the brand wants to partner with you is to reuse your content in other ways. They want to repost it on their website, embed it on their website, on an e-commerce partner like Amazon. They want to repost it on their social media. They want to run paid advertising with it. That's a repurposing campaign. The final campaign goal type in the ARC method, or the ARC framework, is called conversion, right? And this is where the brand wants to drive something measurable, some sort of measurable action, sales, coupon redemptions, trial signups, app downloads, something like that, something that they're able to track, right? And the reason that it's so important that you need to understand what the brand's goals are when you collaborate with them is that your pricing should change. In the conversion focused scenario, let's just say that they hire you, Nomadic Introvert, for a post. Maybe let's say it's some sort of physical good. Actually, let's do like a software program. That's like an easy example, is that they know that on average, if let's say your video, I don't know, it seems like you have a YouTube channel. So let's say your videos on average get 10,000 views. Okay. Of the 10,000 people that watch that video, maybe 10% will actually click on the link that you put in the description box. Okay. And so that's 1,000 people, right? So 1,000 people land on their landing page. Of the 1,000 people that click through, let's say 100 people sign up for a free trial, okay? Of the 100 people that sign up for a free trial, let's say 20 actually join to become a paying member. And they know that each paying member on average sticks around for 6 months with their product. And let's say it's $10 a month. So the LTV, or the lifetime value of a customer, is, what did I say? $60? Is that what it is? $10. So I forget my math here. But again, let's say it's the average customer is worth $60 to them, right? And 20 people signed up. So 20 times 60. That is the max they're going to be willing to pay you, is $1,200. Okay. And remember, they don't just want to break even. That's their break even point. They want to make a profit. So they actually want to get more like, $2,400 out of that. So they make a 2x profit basically, or 1x profit. And so when you are struggling to negotiate with a brand in these types of scenarios, it's oftentimes because they are beholden to what's called CPA metrics. This is what it's called, a cost per acquisition metrics. And they have this math that they're dialed into, right? Contrast that with a brand awareness campaign, where Oh, they just want to spread the word. They want to, get people excited about this. What are the metrics that they're tracking there? How do you track that? Views, impressions, downloads, engagement, comments. Those are the types of metrics that they're tracking in those types of campaign goals. And so your ability to negotiate, your leverage in those scenarios is so much higher, right? And so this is the first major bucket of pricing levers that you need to consider, okay? But it's only one half of it, okay? The other half is called the DO rule, okay? DUE. You realize I love acronyms. Can you tell here? DUE. D stands for deliverables. You have to understand exactly what the brand is trying to how many posts they actually want you to make. What is this? It's not just about social posts, right? It could be you doing a webinar for them. It could be you, creating content for, number of deliverables, like cut down videos that they're going to use for ads, like whatever it is. If it's a YouTube video, is it going to be integrated or dedicated? It comes down to you actually ascertaining exactly what they want you to do. That's the D, deliverables. U is usage rights, right? Are they going to be, remember, maybe the campaign is repurposing beyond you actually posting it on your platforms. They're going to repurpose it in other ways. They're going to, put it on their website. They're going to run paid advertising with it. And also, if they're going to do that, for how long? The E in the DO rule is exclusivity. Okay. Do they want you to remain exclusive to their brand, meaning that you cannot work with any of their competitors for a certain duration? That represents a direct opportunity cost for you. If their competitor approaches you in 5 months and you're not able to work with them, that's money out of hand. So you need to make sure you price that into the deal. So these are the two major levers that you need to consider. And of course, the thing that always frustrates people is they say, well, just give me a formula, give me an amount. And of course, I do have calculators that are very robust and well-researched in my program, Brand Deal Wizard, which starts next week, of course. But the philosophy that I want to bestow to you is that not everything can be boiled down to just 2%. Yeah, just use your engagement rate and times it by this arbitrary, 5% of your formula, 5% of your followers, blah, 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 right? It's these are absolutely atrocious calculations. If you're ever seeing these on you're Googling and you're finding stuff like this, all that stuff is hogwash. It has no bearing on how much you should charge. These are the buckets. I'm telling you. You have to understand the objectives. If you are pricing in a vacuum and you're only pricing based on your own metrics and you're completely ignoring the value that you're bringing to the brand, you are leaving so much money on the table. The best example that I can give you, if you've ever heard this old adage around the price or the value of water, right? If you go to a running stream and you collect water, how much does that cost? It's free, right? If you go to Walmart, how much does water cost? Well, probably $5 for a 48 pack or 24 pack or whatever, right? Okay. If you go to a sports arena, how much does water cost? It costs $10, right? And isn't it interesting how you are willing to pay different amounts based on the context, based on the situation? And so this is an exact parallel here when you are interacting and negotiating with brands, is that the value that you're providing, it's not just a commodity. Everyone thinks it's a commodity. It's not, because you are providing something that is unique. You are not a commodity. And so the way in which you illustrate and articulate that to a sponsor, one brand may pay you $20K for something that another brand is willing to pay you $5K. Very, very, very important thing to understand. Yeah. Architectural Sheet Metal says, love the water analogy. Appreciate that, man. Good to see you here. We got Max from Slav Guns. What's going on, man? Good to see you here. Oh, you're going to be at Vid Summit, volunteering as a photographer. Dope, man. Awesome. Good to see you there. It'll be awesome to meet in person for the first time. That's awesome, man. Yes, I am speaking at Vid Summit. I'm very excited about that. I'm speaking on the last day. Holy cow, Eric from Modern Day Tech just sent in the super chat. No questions, but I'm supporting the DoorDash fund because I know how expensive it is. Have fun at Vid Summit. Man, that's so kind of you, man. Good to see you here and really, really appreciate it, man. You've been like a day one supporter, day zero supporter for a really, really long time. So appreciate you being here, man. It's wonderful to have you in the community, honestly. All right. Let's see here. Let's see here. All right. What other questions you got here? I'm just doing a little bit of moderation here because we got some trolls. Let's see here. We've got Momo tuning in on TikTok. We've got Nope. What's going on? Saying, hey, Justin, good to see you here. We've got, let's see here. I'm actually going to take a swig here while I look for some other questions here. Okay, we got a bunch of comments in here. Holy cow. The creator's attorney said, Justin is the brand deal expert. The free advice is so amazing. I appreciate you, Tyler. That means a lot to me. Influencer Workshop NYC says, when do you usually go live? I usually go live on 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern every Friday. That's when I go live. So yeah, hope to see you here on a future live. Let's see. We've got, who else we got here? Sinaloa FNX, say Sade Tavia. Climb, elevate your life. I am Josh Whittick. Good to see you here, Josh. Dimitri's Anastasopoulos. How did I do on that one, Dimitri? Dimitri Sanastasopoulos. There may be a middle name in there that I'm like adding to your middle name, so I don't know. Brady, your tutor, what's going on? Brady, good to see you here, man. Sweetheart, Jay. Tyler got a question here in the Instagram chat. What are your thoughts about those platforms like #paid? Good question here. So my philosophy on any of the brand deal platforms is very simple. A lot of creators always like ask me, should I be on the brand deal platforms? Like, is it, I just get emailed about them all the time. It's so annoying. They're asking me to authenticate my platforms and like blah, 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 blah. There's like 100 of them. I'm so annoyed and jaded. I don't want to do it anymore. And here's my experience. Okay. Like, you do not know where your next deal is going to come from. Okay, one time this has happened multiple times, but like one time in particular, we had a brand deal platform email us a few years back, and they said, oh, we're this new platform. We're all slick and we got this cool UI. You should join. And we're working with all these brands. And we're just like, okay, fine. We signed up, didn't hear from them for 6 months. And then 6 months, they slid into our email with a $30,000 deal. They were like, you're a perfect fit, budget, 30,000, done. Right? It was like this. I can't remember the scope, but that was like one YouTube video, a couple of social posts. It was like so legit. There was some usage and all this stuff. 30K. Right. And so my philosophy is like, stop being like a wuss. Just like go out there and spend like a day signing up for all the 100 of the platforms. And you never know where your next deal is going to come from, because like the reality is that every campaign, oftentimes they have like very different criteria for like what the types of creators that they're trying to partner with. And so you may be super niche, and it just takes like being on the right platform for them to like look for small business owners who like have a laundromat, and like you're that person on TikTok, and like you're perfect for this. 10K, 15K, boom. This happens. Remember, I ran an influencer agency for 7 years. I'm telling you, with a fact that this happens, you never know what random criteria the brand gets excited about that they want to, like search for specific types of creators based on their own marketing initiatives. So it just pays to be on every single one of these platforms. Yes, there are some that are better than others, but like, again, you never know where your next deal is going to come from. That's the beauty of being a creator. That's the beauty of this whole thing. It's so dope. Business can come from all sorts of different directions, and you never know where it's going to happen. Right? Okay. All right. Yeah. Like, does that answer your question, Tyler? That's kind of my philosophy on all this stuff, is just like, just every creator should just suck it up and sign up for all of them. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Hold on a sec. Nope said, I met the Hint founder, Kara. You met Kara? I've like been following her for a super long time. I'm such a huge fan. I love Hint. I'm not sponsored by Hint. Maybe I should be though. Kara, hit me up. Or maybe Nope. Maybe you can make the connection for me. That's hilarious. Super cool. Here. Oh, holy cow. $5 super chat here. Architectural sheet metal. Thank you very much. Appreciate you so much for the DoorDash fund. And a question here. How much chasing should we be doing versus letting the brand approach us? Okay, so my philosophy on this is you absolutely get, if you're a creator and you're wondering how much chasing should I do when, I'm interacting with brands, should I just like sit on my hands and wait for them to come to me? Or should I be out there constantly, doing outbound pitching and all this stuff too? The number one mindset that you need to have as a creator is you always, always, always have to have a healthy balance of inbound responses, inbound deal flow that you're responding to, and outbound prospecting and pitching, because you can never rely on the deals that are coming inbound to you. Yes, it's awesome when, someone walks through your door and says, hey, you're perfect. We want to pay you 10K or we want to pay you 5K. Like, that's awesome, but you can't rely on that. You are running a business here as a creator. If you do not have a sponsorship wheel or i.e. sales pipeline, how are you going to know with certainty what your income is going to be for the next 3, 6, 12 months? You're not going to know unless you are supplementing your inbound deal flow with outbound prospecting. And so, yes, you absolutely need to be following up. You need to be pitching brands, regardless of where you're at in your creator journey. I don't care if you have 5,000 followers or 1 million followers. You have to be always filling out your sponsorship pipeline so you know with certainty, having conversations all the time, because deals are going to close at different times. Every brand is working on different campaigns in different quarters. And so it's your job. And so if you're feeling like, I don't have any certainty in my income as a creator, well, it's because you're not tracking it. You don't have a reliable, methodical system where you're out there constantly having conversations at various points of the funnel, basically. And again, if this is something that you do not have, you absolutely need to sign up for my Brand Deal Wizard program, because this is exactly what I teach, my 8-step sponsorship wheel framework. Okay? Helps you create a system for working with brands. Brand deals are not unreliable and unpredictable. They're only that way if you don't create a system for yourself. We have lots of alumni here in the chat that can vouch for the methodology and can vouch for the usefulness of starting to think about this stuff as a business. This always blows people's minds when I sit them down and say, like, brand deals are predictable. Like, you can actually make them predictable if you create a sales process. The problem is that most creators are not used to thinking in this mindset. In fact, probably you got into being a creator because you were fleeing a corporate job or fleeing needing to think of it as a business. And that's all good and well. And yeah, you may land a few deals here and there and make some money from AdSense or from a creator fund or what have you. But there's no way you can ever rely on that income. And so I'm here to say that if you want to actually do this creator thing, maybe full time, or maybe you want to keep it as a side hustle, but make actually consistent, lucrative income, you can't just rely on the inbound stuff. You actually have to treat this like a business. You have to have a sales process. You have to actually have thoughtfulness behind what you're saying in your pitches and what you're saying when you follow up, beyond just, hey, just want to follow up here. That's not enough. That's not gonna work. So yeah, Sinaloa says, yep, LOL. Yeah, totally. And Andrea says, I got to go, Justin. Thanks for all the advice. No worries. Thank you so much for tuning in here. Good to see you here. Getting Negative says, can't wait to meet you at VidSummit someday. This year isn't in the cards. Too busy business building. Hey, you know what? That is okay, Getting Negative. And I love that you brought that up, because I think too many people play business instead of do business. And what do I mean by that? Especially, it's especially rampant on certain platforms like TikTok and Twitter and stuff like that. You'll see a lot of people flexing all these complex things that they're building and all this stuff too. But they're actually more busy flexing than they are actually working on the business. They're setting up all these fashion, these fancy Notion, templates and SOPs and all this stuff. But they're spending more time on that than they are actually building the business. And so I will always support business building over even conferences. Let's be fair. One of the reasons why I do the conference circuit and when I speak and all this stuff too, let's be real, it absolutely takes me away from building the business, but I also value it as part of the overall ecosystem of being involved and helping people. A lot of this is mission driven for me. And so I love doing this type of stuff because I view it as my way of giving back, but it honestly absolutely does keep me from business building. And so I always get very excited when I can clear space in my calendar. I don't have any meetings. I don't have any podcasts and all that stuff too. I have seasons for these things. speaking of seasons, like I'm going to be entering a season soon where it's going to be the season of no for me. I'm going to say no to a lot of podcasts, to a lot of collaborations, to a lot of things, a lot of speaking engagements because I want to write a book. I don't want to write a book. I'm going to write a book. And I'm speaking this into existence. But I need to clear space and time in my mind and in my schedule to be able to do that, because I know that it's going to take a pretty Herculean, effort to bring that to life. And I don't want to just write a book that's like a collation of my blog posts. Like, that's not interesting to me. I want to write the definitive book on sponsorship strategy. And that's going to take more thoughtfulness and I don't know how to do it yet. I need to figure out how to do it. I've been speaking with friends and all that stuff who have experience writing books, and I'm very excited about that process. But again, like there's seasons for these things, and so getting negative, like, no worries. Hope to see you in a future event. All right, I'm gonna take a swig here because I am parched. All right, here we go. Okay. All right. Oh my God. What the heck is going on here? The super chats are on fire today. Got a super chat from SheFires. Thank you so much. Thanks to you. I successfully booked a brand call soon. Using your advice, I prepared my talking points and questions, so I'm excited. But should I lead the call or let them start and I respond? Holy cow. First of all, like, guys, come on. Let's all give some chats some claps in the chat for SheFires booking a brand call with the brand. That is unbelievable. I am so proud of you, SheFires. Amazing. Come on, guys. This is the Share Your Wins Friday. So I want to hear some congratulations and some hand claps for SheFires in the chat. Okay, so should you lead the call or not? I would always, like, my approach always is to just assume that you're going to be leading the call. If you're the one who asked for the call, you're the one leading it. So just go into it and you've got your list of questions and you just hop on there and start asking. You will find within a question or two their willingness to share, I would say, and they may want to like share some stuff and some background and all that stuff too. But the best way to approach this is to assume that you're going to lead it, but treat it like just a conversation. I think a lot of times creators they're very scared of having calls with brands because they're like, I don't know, what if they ask me something that I don't know the answer to? Or what if the brand is like asking for all this pricing and all this stuff too? And I always say, okay, let's take it down to its simplest form. Don't worry. This is just a conversation. And if you don't know the answer to something, it's okay. Just say, I don't know. I actually have never been asked that. I'll get back to you, right? That's actually more of a sign of an expert than trying to BS something. So you don't need to pretend that you know the answer to everything, even if they ask you something kind of complicated, right? And so just go into this, be yourself, assume that you're going to lead it with the questions that you've already researched. And then at the very end, you say, hey, this was so, if they ask you anything that you don't know the answer to, or they ask you for pricing, or, hey, so like, what should we do together? You basically said, thank you so much. This was so useful. I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to put a proposal together, right? Like that. It's as simple as that. You don't need to worry about it. You got this. I'm so proud of you. I know you got this. Yes, we've got some hand claps. Yes, I love it. Yes, Mama Mia, it's Kia. Got some hand claps. I love to see it here. Delise says, I am in that season now. I believe that there's no real balance in life. I can't focus on everything. Yeah, if you need to have a season of no, that's okay. It's okay to have that. All right. Oh, we got another super chat from AZ Business Development. Didn't even ask a question, just put a super chat. Like, holy cow. Like, you guys are just so kind today. I'm so appreciative of you. Thank you. That really means a lot, AZ Business Development. Thank you. Really, really means a lot. Yeah, we got a bunch of claps. Yes, love to see it. Okay, Jake said, hey, Justin, are you leveraging AI in your business in any way? All right. Okay, this is gonna be a under the hood preview of something that I've never showed anyone before. Are you ready for this? Are you guys ready for this? This is an exclusive preview of what I am working on at Creator Wizard. All right, are you guys ready for this? All right, meet Creator Wizard AI. You can get help with your pitches. You can learn how to respond or you can learn how to research brands for sponsorships. You can get negotiation tips. This AI has been trained on all of my content, all of my YouTube videos, all of my live streams, and all of my course material. So it's currently available only for Brand Deal Wizard students. I haven't even actually rolled it out fully yet, but like, you know, for example, what is the rope pitching method, right? This is the thing that I'm asking it right now. And again, this has been trained on my course material. And so what you'll see here is it knows exactly what my thing is. Those of you who are in TikTok, you're not able to see this because I'm like sharing my screen on YouTube right now. But then you can say, you know, hey, you know, there's all sorts of stuff. I'm just giving you a little teaser here, but you can ask things like, you know, about brands that you want to pitch, how you can use my methodologies to pitch these brands. You can help analyze emails from you, that you've sent or received. There's going to be a lot that's going into this right now. But I am going to be very excited to kind of announce there's going to be more features that I'm going to be building into it. And I'm actually considering potentially releasing it as a standalone product. So yeah, I wasn't planning on sharing this, but like, you guys know, I share so much under the hood here, of like what I'm working on my business. But like, I'm pretty excited about this one because I think that, you know, imagine being able to have essentially kind of a co-pilot for your pitching and your sponsorship strategy, using the methodologies that I teach, could be pretty dope. What do you guys think? I see some, whoa, this is next level. Oh, homegrown Hillary says, oh, Sarah says, oh, cool. Yeah. So yeah, this is something that, I'm pretty stoked about. Yeah. I'm constantly like, look guys, I'm constantly trying to like serve you. This is the only reason, like someone could think like, oh, Justin, don't do this, because then people are going to stop enrolling in your courses, or people are going to stop like hiring you for coaching or all that stuff too. Like, I don't give a crap. That's not the reason I'm doing this. Like, I'm doing this because I want to help you. Like the money will come. There will always be people who will want to like pay you for more detailed support. And so this is just in service of my mission. Remember my mission? I want to help big creators, big and small, land 1 million sponsorships by 2032. So that's 9 years from now. There's absolutely no way that I'm going to be able to help 100,000 people per year unless I'm figuring out how to scale my expertise and have a larger impact using things potentially like AI, like this. So I'm very, very excited about the potential opportunity for this to be able to impact more people. I'm excited about this one. So are you guys excited? Yeah, I'm excited. Bo says, aren't you married to April? April Justin TV. Yeah, I'm married to April. April's my boo. I'm on here. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Marlene says, you share more in your lives than some people do in their paid courses. You know what? I'm gonna like that. That's a very, very like big compliment, Marlene. I'm gonna pull that one up here and feature that one because that comment like really makes me smile. I appreciate that, and I think it comes from, you know, this philosophy, which is that I just like, it's not really about the money to me. It's very much kind of a service. It's like my mission to help kind of the next generation of creators learn how to advocate for themselves. So yeah, I mean, I think that it's like I think it's actually kind of a not a hack, but like it's just like good business is like, you give so much value that people will ask, like, if the free stuff is this good, like what is the paid stuff like? People have told me that like so many times. That's always been my philosophy, as I feel like information wants to be free. And I'm just going to continue giving away as much as I can for free. And you know, so far so good. It seems like the business is growing. So that's a lot of fun. Like, speaking of which, all these public coaching calls, have you guys watched any of these on my YouTube channel that I've been releasing? I think I have 5 public coaching calls now. Like, again, these are people who have like paid for a coaching call with me, and I release it publicly for free on YouTube. Like, this is the type of like ethos that I have around content, information. Like, it wants to be free. So I'm just going to keep doing it. And yes, thank you. Jake says agreed. She Fires says agreed. Yeah, I appreciate that. That really means a lot. Lola says, that's exactly what me and my friends say when we talk about your videos. Such good info. I appreciate this. Appreciate that so much, Lola. Who is your friend, by the way? Can you like get her to join the newsletter? Like, if they're Okay, if there's one thing that I could ask of you for all the free stuff that I provide to you guys, would you like share my newsletter with people, like creatorwizard.com/join. And in fact, if you're already on the newsletter, there's like a referral link that you can share and give to a friend, and you get kind of perks and stuff if you share it. But like, honestly, that's the goal, is like get more people onto the newsletter so I can tell them about all the stuff that I want to, all the ways in which I can help them, right? Workshops, videos, like, I have free workshops. I'm doing another free workshop in an hour at 12 p.m. Pacific, if you're not registered for it, in partnership with creator.co, which is another platform, doing like a live webinar. There's so much free stuff that I do. So being on my newsletter is the best way to find out about all that stuff, because that's where I share it. That's like the engine for my business is honestly my newsletter. Another cool thing that I want to share about the newsletter, guys, is that, as you know, I do Mondays, which is Mindset Monday. I do Thursdays, which is the Take Action Thursday sponsorship digest of all the opportunities. I do Saturdays, which is the Strategy Saturdays, which is like I pull out things from the archive that I haven't seen, like videos and articles and stuff like that. Thinking about doing another digest on Tuesdays called Tool Tuesdays, because I am constantly being asked about my tech stack, like the services and tools and software programs and stuff that I use for my business to grow it. And I am constantly seeing cool stuff that people are working on. And I've always wanted, my newsletters are getting longer and longer, especially the Thursday ones, because I always want to like cram a bunch of stuff in there. And I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if I could just like shine a spotlight on tools that I think are cool, or things that I think are cool that people are doing. Like there's this tool that my friend Richard built called One of 10. You should go check it out. It's called oneof10.com. And it helps you analyze different niches on YouTube and different keywords and things like that to find outlier videos. So like videos that performed way better than the average views on that channel. And it helps give you inspiration for videos that you could potentially create in your niche or your channel. And so I'm like, wow, that's cool, Richard. Can I share that to 30,000 creators on my newsletter? And so I was like thinking, man, it'd be really cool to have like just a dedicated email sharing people's cool tools and brand, like software and all this stuff. So I think I'm gonna do that. Probably, I think I'm gonna call it Tool Tuesdays. So what do you guys think about that? I'm excited. Yeah, let's see here. All right, let me. Okay, Slav Guns got a great testimonial here. Wanted to share with you as success, got a paid video from a company who ran out of budget this year, so we were able to pull it from the 2024 budget. Boom. Agreed to do a free review for this year if they agreed to do a paid video in the beginning of 2024, which covered both. Very, very creative, Max. I love that you were able to do that. And this is what I'm talking about. You can be creative. You can be creative when you do these types of negotiations. So props to you. Let's have, come on, we got to get a applause for Max in the chat here. Let's do some applause here. Very, very proud of you. Yes, amazing. Love to hear it. Mama Mia, it's Kia, says, this stuff seems so complicated. I get stuck on where to start. Well, the first thing is to just like realize that everyone makes mistakes. I shared at the start of this live stream about 5 like horror stories that happened to my wife and I over the years when we were doing sponsorships. And so like even we in the beginning made lots of mistakes. Every mistake in the book, probably you could make, we probably made it. And so I think it's just like taking the pressure off yourself to realize that like this is life, this is business. Like there are probably going to be some mistakes that you make, and like just accepting that and realizing it. Obviously, my whole goal is to help you avoid these mistakes. But like, if you're so scared to ever start because of the potential pitfalls that can happen, then you're going to potentially deprive yourself of an amazing future, of an amazing business, of an amazing life. And so you can't make decisions in life from a place of fear. That's my philosophy, is that if you do that, you're always going to make terrible decisions because you're always going to try to game the worst case scenario, and it's going to make you think small. You're going to play small. Contrast that with if you have a default perspective of like, what if this goes right? What if amazing things happen? What if I approach this from a place of optimism? What amazing things could happen? Then you'll start to make choices from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. This is my mindset on everything in life, not just sponsorships, is that you have to grab life by the horns and just assume that it's going to go well. And I don't want to like minimize the fact that, this may have come from your upbringing. right? Because a lot of like our baggage and obstacles and mindset challenges as adults come from our childhood, right? And so this may mean you actually may need to do some inner work, right? Therapy, journaling. I'm not prescriptive on what that is, but there does need to be some reflection here of like why you are feeling so hesitant to do this. And a lot of it comes down to just giving it a shot, trying it, knowing that you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay, right? And Max says, yeah, Justin's spot on. This stuff is certainly not hard, but it is difficult. It requires planning and discipline. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. Bianca says, so damn, so good. Yes, I appreciate that, Bianca. Appreciate that so much. Yeah, so guys, we've arrived at the end of the live stream. How did that happen? It always goes by so quickly, but I appreciate each and every one of you so much. If any of you are going to be at Vid Summit next week, I can't wait to meet you. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I will see all of you guys who gave super chats on the live stream. Thank you. Really, really means a lot to me. Maybe, I don't know what we're going to order for tonight. I've been hankering for some Indian food, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. Anyways, have a wonderful weekend, guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.